Hey guys, it's me, the Shadow Dash, and I'm gonna be reacting to a Star Strike's video about how much money does Rarity actually make. So yeah, let's go.
After a lengthy 14 years, I have finally discovered the answer to the question we have all been wondering: how much money does Rarity actually make? Rarity is a dress designer and entrepreneur.
There's nothing more powerful than you making your thing happen, really going for it.
Who, ever since season 1, has been shown to have an incredibly successful business and has gone on to create multiple designs and dresses for high-profile individuals such as Sapphire Shores. But as you go through the series, you'll find that she is not just running some small boutique in Ponyville. She opens up multiple shops in extremely high-traffic areas and is so successful that she managed to make a dress that sold by the hundreds within minutes. On top of all that, the cost of running these shops is very low. All she has to pay for is 5 employees and the rent of 2 locations. And she has a side job working as a teacher at the School of Friendship. With all these different sources of income, one's gotta ask, exactly how much money does Rarity actually make? Today,
I mean, I don't know if we can really tell if, or sorry, not tell, but I don't know if we can really figure out how much like someone how much like someone makes, because for example, Mr. Beast, a very well-known YouTuber from America, he makes a lot of money, but no one actually knows his true income. So yeah.
Solving the answer to this question once and for all. I've spent the last several hours researching and calculating the numbers, and let me tell you, the answer was absolutely ridiculous. Now, before we can figure out exactly how much Rarity makes, we need to first figure out how much Rarity's dresses are worth. And believe me, this is nothing short of a nightmare. The value of currency in My Little Pony is truly all over the place. At one point, we see 2 bits equating to the value of 3 tomatoes. Then, moments later, in the same episode, a single cherry can also sell for 2 bits. And don't even get me started on the gems! Oh, the gems! Rarity often uses her gems in her dress designs, thereby raising the cost. The problem is that it is nearly impossible to tack down any specific value of the gems, since there is no consistent value to be attributed to them throughout the show. Sometimes a gem can be purchased with a bunch of bits.
I mean, yes, true. Gems, they have different values nowadays, I guess. But I think the most expensive ones, if I'm probably wrong here, I think it's zirconium or something like that, or I can't say the name. Zirconium? I can't remember the exact name of the gem, but there are many gems out there. Yeah, I don't know.
And sometimes they are so common in the world that no pony would even consider mining them. And some gems, such as this teeny tiny one, are so valuable that it can be used to purchase an industrial pet dryer the size of a house. So how then do we figure out the value of the gems in Rarity's designs? Well, for starters, it's clear that she is very selective about which gems she uses. Every time we see her collecting gems, she isn't just looking for any gem. She is looking for the best of the best. We always see her searching for specific rare gems for her outfits.
These are extremely rare baby blue sapphires!
There are, however, 2 exceptions I can think of. One is when she was collecting gems with Spike and just grabbing whatever she could find. But if there are any gems in that mix that aren't all that valuable, I'm willing to bet she was going to give them to Spike so that he could eat them. The second example of her not using only the best of gemstones, though, was an honest mistake.
Hey, it's the best pony, Mod Pie. Yay. I'm probably gonna have people being like, what are you talking about? Mod Pie's the best pony. Yeah, that, like, Mod Pie's the best pony. Pinkie Pie's best pony, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? I don't care, okay? I think Mod Pie's best pony.
On her part, when she was searching for rare gems in a cave, and Maud revealed that the rare gems she was looking for weren't actually all that rare. In fact, they were very common. Actually, all the gems were common, but she didn't know that. She genuinely thought that she was finding rare gems. One more piece of evidence to suggest that she is only using the best of the best gems in her outfits is the scene where Spike offers to watch Opal for her. In exchange, he wants a gem, and Rarity takes what, keep in mind, is a very tiny gem from her outfit and gives it to Spike. This same gem that is very tiny is later used by the CMC to purchase the industrial pet dryer. And if that's the value of this tiny thing, what must the value of the rest of her outfit be? Now, here's where things get a little tricky. As far as I can tell, this is the only time in the entire show we were ever given a concrete value of a gem. Since Rarity is only going to be using the best of the best gems in her designs, we're going to assume that all the gems in her outfit average out to be about the same value. And yes, I know this is probably not the case. I know that different gems have different values. I'm disappointed too, but unfortunately, this is the best we have to go on. I considered identifying the gems and calculating each individual gem's value in our world, but the values are clearly not the same to that of Equestria. So, assuming all the gems are of similar value, we can calculate their worth based on this industrial-sized pet dryer. But to do that, we need to calculate its cost. Let's start with the concrete base. First, we have to figure out its size. Winona looks to be approximately 1 foot tall and 2 feet long. And I'm really basing this more off of Equestria Girls than anything else, by the way, seeing as how it's
I mean, fair enough. Fair enough, I guess.
easier to estimate the size of the human rather than the fictional pony. With this in mind, the concrete base is about 4 feet wide, 4 feet deep, and 1 foot tall. According to ConcreteNetwork.com, the average price for concrete is $156.69.
Well, that's that's a lot. That's probably like in pounds. That's like 130, 40-ish. I don't know exactly I don't know the exact conversion rate for pounds to dollars. So yeah.
9 cents per cubic yard, bringing the cost of this base to $92.95. However, there is this curve in
About 80 pounds, I would say, but
the back of the machine that needs to be accounted for. It's really difficult to get an exact measurement of this, especially since part of the concrete is behind the machine, but it looks to be about a third of the rest of the concrete, so we'll add on another $30, bringing us to $122.
90 pounds-ish, or 95, but
$95. Working our way up right above the base, the large blower and ducting system would require industrial-grade fans, motors, and ductwork. High-powered industrial fans and motors can range from $1,000 to $5,000 each, so we'll take the average and estimate around $3,000 for these components. However, if you look closely, you will notice that there are 2 ducting systems, meaning we actually need to double the cost of the fans and motors and ducting, bringing us to $6,000.
Which is probably around 5,000 pounds, but still, man, like that's a lot, honestly.
For the blowers. Ducking costs about $50 per linear foot. This ducking in total looks to be about 22 feet, bringing us to $1,200. And I found that the cost of electrical work and a control system for a machine of this size can vary wildly, so for the sake of this video, we're just gonna call it another $3,000. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings our total cost of the machine to $10,320.
Okay then, that's a lot. In pounds, that's like 9,000-ish. My brain actually hurts. Even though I did pass maths back in like back in 2020, it still hurts. I'm sorry.
$22.95. Now, going back to Rarity's outfit, and assuming all the gems are of similar value, and doubling what we see here to account for the gems on the other side of the outfit, I counted 80 total gems, meaning the cost of this single outfit she is wearing is $825.
Somewhere around, I would say somewhere around a 750,000 pounds ish. I don't know.
$5,836. So now, let's take a look at the designs she actually sells. And trust me guys, this is where it gets truly crazy. Let's start with the outfit that she makes for Sapphire Shores. It shouldn't be too hard. I mean, all we gotta do is count the number of gems on the— Oh! Gosh, no! No! Oh, no! Oh, no, 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 no! Ah, no! Why do you do this to me? Why? This was supposed to be a simple video with simple math. Just a little addition. I just want to know how much Rarity makes.
One eternity later.
Okay, so bad news. While counting all the gems, I did the awful thing of taking a look at this garment from another angle. Because conveniently, the show supplies us with another angle. And I decided it would be a good idea to look at it just to make sure that I counted everything properly. And you know what I found out? The exact placement and number of the gems changes with each angle. It's not a major difference, but it's more than enough to make this thing impossible to calculate. But I did my best with the angles given. So after counting both angles, recounting, estimating the amount of gems that we cannot see that are on the other side, and recounting again, as far as I can tell, there's about 400 gems on this outfit. If we account for the size of the larger gems and we estimate how many of Rarity's smaller gems could fit within them, we actually get a number closer to 500 since so many of these gems are so large. Now, if we take the value of the initial red gem that Rarity gave to Spike and multiply it by 500, then multiply that by the 6 garments that Sapphire Shores orders from Rarity, we get a grand total of, drumroll please, 30 million.
Okay, like that's a lot. I think that's like 25 million pounds ish, or some, or 2 million pounds. I don't know the exact value, so yeah.
$968,850 plus tax. That's right, Rarity has already become a multi-millionaire from this design alone. But guys, we're not finished yet. Oh, no, no, no. What we have here is small potatoes compared to what's coming. Now, when calculating the value of Rarity's dresses, we need to keep in mind that the vast majority of them actually have little to no gems. They're just normal dresses, which makes sense when you think about it, because not every pony has $30 million just laying around to splurge on clothing. Now, the price of a dress is another one of those things that varies quite a bit, but we don't actually have to guess how much one of her dresses costs. In the episode, Fake It Till You Make It, we see Rarity sell a single gem-free dress to a customer. During the sale, we actually get a view of the cash register, revealing the actual value of her dresses. And the cost for one of her dresses comes out to 211,158 bits. Which, seriously? Does the average pony really have that much? How does anyone afford clothing in this world? It's no wonder they're all naked all the time.
Wonder no pony's wearing anything.
Well, given the existence of this scene where Pinkie Pie is on a train and she purchases a bunch of snacks with a baker's salary, 211,000 may actually not be that big a stretch. But hey, if you personally can't afford the cost of one of Rarity's outfits, you could always click the link in the description to buy some Star Strike merch instead. See these cool cats? They're wearing my merch. Why aren't you? The only difference between these cool cats and you is they got Star Strike merch. So go ahead and head on over to the Star Strike merch shop where you can get all the merchables, which are, actually reasonably priced. Now, I'm sure you're all wondering what the value of a bit is worth. Well, conveniently, this is not a calculation I need to do, because quite a while back, I did a collab with Doc Anubis where we calculated the value of a bit, and we found that a single bit is actually worth about $1, which I'm happy to say makes the conversion process very, very easy. Thank goodness I needed a break. So we'll just change that from 211,158 bits to $211,158 for a single dress. And you know what? I guess she can justify the price, seeing as how she is a top top-of-the-line designer. Now we need to figure out how many dresses Rarity is selling. Rarity generally seems to have about 0 to 4 ponies in her shop at any given time. She is also really quick to deal with them and get a dress sold. Given how fast she is cycling through customers, I could easily see her getting a customer about every 5 to 15 minutes. She also seems to get quite a few returning customers that have so much money that they are even willing to purchase multiple items in a single shopping trip. But for the sake of this video, let's just say she makes one sale every 10 minutes. And we're going to assume that the store
I mean, yeah, that's a lot of money, honestly, but you know, taxes are still a thing, so yeah.
is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. 6 out of the 7 days of the week. That totals 480 minutes per day, or 48 products sold per day, times 6 days of the week, times 52 weeks in a year, equals 14,976 products in a single year from one shop. If we assume that her other two shops are operating at the same pace, that is 44,928 dresses. Wow, Rarity is just pumping out dresses like crazy. Now, if we multiply that number by the amount that we see her charge for one of her dresses, we get a yearly total amount of $9,486,906,624. At this point, we are way past the millions. Rarity is a multi-billionaire. And you want to know the best part? We're still not done. Not even close, because there's still one factor that we need to account for.
The princess dress!
Unlike the other dresses that Rarity usually sells, this one was covered in gemstones roughly the same size as the one we calculated the cost of earlier. And to my count, there are 44 total per dress, which, including the base cost of the dress, brings the total value of the princess dress to $665,326. And that is for one dress. And unlike her other dresses, she sold a lot of this design. Within minutes, she receives 100 orders for her signature dress. Later in the episode, Sassy Saddles is congratulating her on making 200 princess dresses, only to immediately drop another 100 on her, causing Rarity to quit making the dresses. So if we multiply the cost of the princess dress by the 200 orders that she filled, the total amount she made from the princess dress is $133,065,200.
Yeah, like that's still a lot of money or bits, I guess.
And you may think that's all, but no, there's more! If we take a look at this other design that Rarity made for Sapphire Shores, which thankfully is much easier to estimate the value of than the first one, we get around 148 gems worth of jewels on this design, add that to the standard price of 5 outfits for herself and her backup dancers, which, let's be honest, likely costs way more than the base price. We get an order from Sapphire Shores costing another $2,583,586.60. Keep in mind, these numbers are not including the other dresses we don't see that she sells to celebrities that also have gem-covered designs. At that point, we're probably looking at least 50 million, probably well over 100 million. But unfortunately, because there is no way to say for certain how much she is making, I'm not going to include it in this calculation. Just know that it's likely a lot. Now, to figure out how much Rarity has made across the span of 9 seasons, all we need to do is add up the money she would make from each shop. Now, we're actually going to subtract the first 3 seasons because at this point in time, Rarity is not very well known and she's not running a fashion empire just yet, so we'll just count for season 4 and beyond. Season 4, Rarity owns one boutique making $3,162,302,280 a year off of her standard dresses. Season 5, Rarity now owns 2 boutiques making $6,324,604,416 a year. Season 6 and beyond, Rarity has now opened 3 locations
My brain actually hurts.
and is making $9,486,906,624 every year. Tired of numbers yet? Well, don't worry. We're almost there, but now we need to account for the cost of making the dresses and running her shops. Rarity has 5 total employees that she needs to pay for. plus 3 raccoons. She needs to also pay for the materials and the rent for the locations. But when it comes to the cost of materials, she is actually saving millions here. Because while she does order some gemstones that are rare and hard to find, she does still go out and collect a lot of them herself. If I had to guess, I'd say she probably collects most of them herself, and only orders the rarest and most time-consuming of gems to collect. So we can't count the exact amount for what she's spending on buying gems. But since we aren't counting the dresses she is spending gems on in the total anyway, we don't actually have to worry about adding this to the total cost of her expenses. Rarity has 4 retail workers and 1 marketing specialist. The average marketing specialist makes $68,230 a year and works for her for 5 seasons. A retail worker makes $29,353, and we're going to assume all 4 of them continue working for Rarity for the rest of the show. This brings the total cost of the employees across all seasons to $810,798. That is nothing! That's literally less than the value of the first outfit we looked at earlier in the video. And as for her rent, we'll assume that she owns the first boutique and is paying $10,000 a month for the other 2 locations. It's impossible to get an exact calculation. I'm literally just basing this off of some rough estimates that I found online of what it would cost to rent a 200 square foot store. Not that $10,000 is really a big deal at this point.
Hire her or I raise rent until you no can afford.
Yeah, buddy, I don't care what you charge her. She's got the cash to pay for it. The final thing we need to look at is the cost of the fabric. It takes about 3 yards of fabric to make a dress. And since these are ponies, you might think that it would be kind of hard to figure out if they really need 3 yards, since they're not humans. But we actually see in a blooper reel in Equestria Girls how their size compares to humans. And
Oh yeah, that thing. Haha. I still wish we got that in Equestria Girls, but you know, it's still funny regardless, I guess.
looks to me like they would actually require roughly the same amount of fabric. To figure out how much it would cost Rarity to make these dresses, I went to a website called Fabric Wholesale Direct, clicked on their most expensive fabric because of course Rarity would settle for nothing less, and found that the cost was $850 for 40 feet. Across seasons 4 to 9, accounting for when she opened her shops, she would have sold 224,640 dresses. The cost of fabric at this point to make a single dress would be $191.25. Multiply that by the number of the dresses, and you get a total cost of $42,962,400. If we add in the cost of the employees and the rent, this brings her total expenses to $43,783,198. And that's it! We finally have enough information to make a final calculation as to how much money Rarity actually makes. Also, this video took like a really long time to make, so if you enjoyed it, I would really...
I'm literally about to like fall asleep or something because of how long this guy's been calculating numbers. So yeah.
Appreciate it if you press the like button. Legitimately, even just one like helps a lot. Anyways, no more stalling. If we count up all the money that Rarity has made from her standard sales to her princess dress to Sapphire Shores and subtract all her expenses, Rarity is worth a grand total of $47,557,367,558.60. To put that into perspective, that would make Rarity the 26th richest person in the world. She is nearing $500 billion. Heck, by the end of the series, she probably is a trillionaire. With that kind of money, Rarity could buy Buckingham Palace 9 times. She could purchase the main island of Hawaii twice. If you lined up her money in $1 bills, you could wrap around the entire circumference of the Earth 183 times. Or she could use that money to buy 470 trillion dominoes, then wrap those around the Earth 559 times. Or she could buy 9.4 billion bath bombs and see what happens when she drops them all in the ocean. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any suggestions for future theory videos, please go ahead and leave a comment telling me about them. Wait a second, I just realized I didn't account for how much she's making for being a teacher!
Okay then, that was my reaction to Star Strike's video about how much Rarity's worth. And yeah, I'm gonna stop now because this video is already like 24 minutes long. So yeah, bye guys.